This session is on Xcode. We will talk about what Xcode is and how we're gonna use this Xcode and what are the different areas of Xcode. So first of all, we should know that Xcode is an integrated development environment for macOS containing suite of software development tools developed by Apple for developing software for macOS, iOS, watchOS, and tvOS. And it's tightly integrated with Cocoa and Cocoa Touch framework, and which provides standard libraries from the Apple Kit, and through which by using this create we can develop our apps. So let's see how Xcode looks like. On my screen you can see that there is a Xcode. I have opened an Xcode, and I created one project. So slowly I will brief you about how and what are the areas we called in Xcode. So there are different toolbars and areas or pans you can see in the Xcode. The area this portion in the Xcode you will called as a navigation area, and this total area is called as an code editor area, and this whole area you will be called as an utility area. So if we called about why we are calling as a navigator or a navigation area, because throughout the project we can move on any file. It explores our project's files. You can see it, and if you want to add any new file, then by right clicking you can add new file here. You can delete it, you can group your files, or and and this is here you can see when we open assistant, and this is what this is an assistant editor, and this assistant editor is actually used when we are on storyboard, and we want to see that which class is used, and we want to simultaneously work on the code. For an example, suppose I'm on the storyboard, and if I want to work on the class associated to this view controller, then this assistant editor will help us to work on that Swift file. So we can get different pans here, and this whole bar is the whole bar is called as a toolbar. Okay, and in the yes, this is an object utility bar. This section is called as a window pan controls. Here we can control what pan we want to show or hide. Like if you want to hide this area, utility area, then you need to just click it here. Okay, and then you can show it. And if you want to show the debug area, that then we need to click it here. So you can, if you want to hide navigation or navigator area, then you need to click it here. So this window pan is used to hide and show or remove uh, the unnecessarily area. And this is the object library section. Here you can get the resource or the UI component, or the format of the code which you want. Like for an example, if you want if you don't know, suppose if you don't know the switch format, the syntax of switch, then you can type and search for the switch, and then Swift switch statement, click it here and click and drop it. So you will get the syntax and the template of a switch here. In the similar way, you can get while, do while statement, switch while statement, any statement you don't know, you need, you look, you feel like that I have to search it or I have to Google it. Instead of Googling, you can go here and search for it. And if you want object like for example, if you want UI components, then you can get from here only. You can, suppose if you want to add any label that was already meant, we have explained, yeah, yeah, you can get anything from this object label, any object which you like as per your requirement. You can search it here what you need it. So you will can get view controller, storyboard, not storyboard, storyboard reference, navigation controller, table view controller, table view, anything. Here you will get all the UI element component that Apple provides us for the development. Okay, and this is this, and this portion is called as auto layout. This section is for the auto layout constraints. If you want to give constraints and auto layout configuration for the UI element, then you can configure it from here. And and this is and this is it. And if and this section is for quick controls and filters. If you want to search anything, if you search for from the file, then you can need to type the name of a file. Suppose we can have many number of many files. Then among those files, if you don't able if you want to search for a particular file, then you have to write a name for it. Like I want to search for an app delegate file, then it will search, yeah, it will search that file from the whole folder or from the whole project. That's it. And this is this, and this panel is known as project status panel. And this project status panel shows the current status of project. Suppose if there is an error, then you will get failed or a red mark, or so it will shows that there is an bug or not. And if suppose you can see that app is ready to debug. So if I rerun, then you will see the current status of what is happening. Like it says it is showing that it's compiling Swift source files, and now it's linking, and now it's compiling storyboard files. So in this way it shows the current status of the project. And if it is successful, then it shows the successful here. This is it. And yes, that's launching, and here we'll see that then after successful launch it will say successful, the status will be successful. And this is the build controls. This to run to build and run the current schema that we have selected from here. This is the active schema, and this is then this is the active devices. You can select any simulator from it. Suppose you want to work on iPad, if you want to test your app on iPad, then you can select it. Or if you want your device to connect, then the connected device will going to show in this, and then after selecting this you can build your app in that device. Here you can see that it's running. App is running. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. So this is this. And now what else? Yeah, this is the debug area. You can debug anything. You can debug your code. You can get a log in this section, and you can get the hierarchy of your elements, and one by one you can check what values the variables are getting. And this is the utility panel. In this utility panel you can configure your UI elements. Like suppose if you want to change its fonts, change its background color, your view controller background color, you can do it from here all. And you can, if you want to change the size, if you want to arrange the layout, anything can be done from the utility panel. And this is called as a library selector bar, and this is and collectively called as an object library panel. And this is, we can say that the whole is, as you can see, this whole is an utility area, and this utility area has different sections. Like this section is for the inspector section, or the inspector pan, and this inspector pan, then and this section will be called as inspector selector bar. Okay, and similarly this is an object library, and this section is called as an object library selector bar, or it's in a library panel. Okay, and here this bar, you can see this bar is actually a jump bar. By its name itself we can assume that we can assume that if you want to jump on the other section or the other file, or on the other part of a code, then you can do that easily. You just need to click here, and then you will get all the files in that current folder or in the current section. Okay, suppose you want to, yeah, you want to get the list in the view, then you can see here, you can directly jump on that. Suppose we label, here it is. Okay, suppose if you are in view controller, then you can jump on any method. So this is how our Xcode looks like. Now you are familiar to the Xcode. Now you have to learn a Swift language or an Objective-C language to code your application, to design your application. So do it. So thank you for this session.